James Thomas Morning Blend. I'm here today with my favorite reviewers. I've got Janelle, I've got Tony. We're going to talk about four different movies. So let's get everything started with DreamWorks' Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. I'm going to go with Janelle.
I thought it was great. It's certainly different than I believe Lightyear that came out where there was hardly any kid interaction in the movie. This time the kids really seemed into it. They were very on the edge of their seats. I know one of my cousin's sons was there, and him being a little boy, he said, "Whew, when the bad guy showed up, I got so scared I choked on my soda." So I think like when out of the mouths of babes, right?
Right.
So it's hard to argue that with that when a kid is that moved and is that pulled in by a movie. I thought it was great. I think the end, me and Tony were talking about it, is especially exciting for us fans of the OG series. So yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was cute. I thought it was quick. It's an hour and 40 minutes. There's not much more you can ask out of a nice, fast, funny kids movie.
Yep. Tony?
I agree. I thought it was very well done. It's a really charming and entertaining tale about life, love, and the pursuit of one's, true goals in life. The strong voice cast, obviously Antonio Banderas has been doing this for about, what are we at, 13, 14 years now since he was introduced to the franchise, maybe longer. But Salma Hayek, Harvey Guillen, Florence Pugh, John Mulaney, Ray Winstone, Olivia Colman, Samson Kayo, Wagner Moura. A couple of these names I wasn't familiar with, honestly, going into this. But now I'm kind of excited to see what they do next, especially really excited to see where Wagner Moura comes into play in the future because he was a very, very good villain, if you will. But it's fun for the whole family, as we can both attest. There was laughter throughout from adults, from kids, some really witty humor as well that'll go over the heads of some of the youngsters. But my biggest thing was, it's just at this end of the year, I think this would have been better suited coming out a little bit earlier because it's kind of written itself out of most awards consideration for best animated feature, which I think it could be in the conversation if not for Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
Very interesting. I have to agree with you on the entire movie. Love, adventure, a lot of laughter. I think the biggest thing was fear. Fear was really being pushed in this to face your fears because you have that one life to live. I thought that was really interesting to me. So I think that resonates very well. Hopefully the kids will get it and hopefully the parents will get it. But I thought it was really good. And again, we got to give shout outs to Antonio Banderas and of course Selma Hayek and of course DreamWorks for putting this together and of course teasing us at the very end with the possibilities of what? Okay, we're ready for it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. Let's talk about that. It's got a huge cast in it. Daniel Craig, Edward Norton, Janelle Monáe, woo, I like her. Catherine Hahn, Leslie Odom Jr., Jessica Henwick. Oh, written by Rian Johnson and directed by Rian Johnson. Let's get into it, Tony.
Well, so I'm not going to shy away from this. Knives Out was one of my favorite films of the year when it was released, and I've been so excited for them to go back down the well. Rian Johnson really gave us an original, thriller and murder mystery, but added so much more to it. And he does the same thing again here. I'm not going to lie. I went in expecting, a lot of the same and expecting Knives Out too. This is the furthest thing from that, but that's not a bad thing. He gives you another colorful cast of characters. You just named the actors in it. Some interesting roles and characters he designed as well. But this is Benoit Blanc's show, and Daniel Craig's never, he's having so much fun. He's having a blast. He's fully bought into this role, and it knows it's a sequel, and it kind of tackles that head on, but it flips it on its head and does not follow the familiar tropes, and it's all the better for it.
It is all the better for it. One of the best performances, I thought a funny performance was by two people, Kate Hudson and surprise Dave Bautista. I enjoyed Dave Bautista in this movie. That was kind of cool, man. Excuse me. It was a great movie. Yeah, it was a lot of twisting and plots and all kinds of fun stuff going on. And I like the fact that it took us back a little bit to kind of explain what's really going on here and then back again and this is what's happening here. So I thought that was kind of cool. Janelle.
I haven't seen it. I will be seeing it on Friday with everybody else when it comes out streaming at Netflix. Didn't get to see the screening of it.
Okay, so it's just me and Tony, and we both agree it was a really pretty good movie. So I guess the next movie that we're going to move on to, because I Want to Dance. Let's get right into I Want to Dance. Whitney Houston, kind of a bio, but kind of too quick. We all agreed on that. Uh, Naomi Aki, Stanley Tucci to me stood out. I really enjoyed him playing Clive Davis. That was very good. Ashton Sanders, Tamara Tooney, Nafessa, I'm getting in trouble for this from Williams, and Clark Peters. I think they could have picked a better Bobby Brown, a much better Bobby Brown. This guy was, I'm sorry.
A caricature.
Yeah. It really wasn't what I thought it was going to be. But again, this was great, man. Directed by Cassie Lemons. Nothing taken away from you, Academy Award winning director. But it just kind of flew through it. It was like a whole concert. It was great to see the national anthem again. I mean, still, no one's going to beat that. And again, I have to agree with what we talked about earlier. I would have rather seen that last 10 to 20 minutes of Whitney versus Naomi. Janelle.
I agree. Seeing as that it was Whitney's voice being dubbed throughout the movie, because obviously you're not going to touch that as far as vocals. I think to not have been, you do get reminded of actually just what a great beauty she was at the very end of the movie during the credits. And I think that last scene with her melody or medley, her love medley, and I think it really missed the mark as far as not having her actual live performance. But I agree with you. It shot through her life. It shot through the 30 years of her life. It really touched on the fact that her life was highlighted by her music. It used songs to cap off points of her life and showed the high and low moments. But it really is a zip through a very colorful, deep, interesting life. And I think that we're going to see more of these, as I was telling you earlier, with the greatest generation of music in the 1980s, my generation.
Oh, here we go.
I think we're seeing this, like I said, with Bohemian Rhapsody and with Rocket Man with Elton John. I think we're going to probably eventually see more something about Prince, about George Michael, Boy George. We had these great characters that in music from that time that I think, I mean, we've even had Straight Outta Compton. So, I mean, like, we're covering the 80s and 90s here, people. Deal with it. It's the greatest generation of music. And I think that we're going to see these musicals / biodocs on these people that we grew up with. Yeah.
Tony, did you see I Want to Dance?
I did not see it. I do want to say one little piece about it, though. I read this the other day. I thought this was kind of cool. So Cassie Lemon's the director. We've all seen her, or most of us have at least. She is Clarice's friend in The Silence of the Lambs that answers the phone when Lecter calls. I thought that was a neat little tidbit. I just wanted to add that in.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, I forgot about that. Wow. All right, let's move on. We got the big one coming up. I won't say the big one, in a way, big one, but it's sneaking in. It really is sneaking in. We're talking about A24 Films, The Whale, starring Brendan Fraser, Sadie Sink, Hong Chow, Ty Simpkins, and Samantha Morton. 117 minutes, about an hour. What is it? An hour, almost 2 hours movie. Janelle?
I think it was an okay movie. However, in saying that, I think Brendan and Sadie make it an even better movie. Sadie, watching her on Stranger Things, she's just electric. I can't wait to see where she goes as far as her career. But she plays and even if you watch Stranger Things, you know she plays angry and bitter teenager very well. Very well. So she brings it back, brings it home with that, I think. And Brendan it's heartbreaking. But it's an okay movie with a great cast.
Mhm. Tony?
I gotta challenge that a little bit. I thought it was remarkable. I mean, it's depressing as you said, but it's so impactful. It's a human story about just the profoundness that grief can have on the human body and spirit. And as you touched on, Brendan Fraser, once in a lifetime performance. And the reason why, at least I think so, that or why it's going to be a once in a lifetime performance, he channels such an authentic sadness. You see it in his eyes, you see it in his mannerisms, and I think it comes from everything that's happened to him in Hollywood. I can't speak for him, but I think he channeled some of that to get the most that he possibly could out of himself. But Hong Chow and Sadie Sink are both just stunning. Hong Chow, rightfully so, is going to be in the conversation for best supporting actress. I think until the end of the award season. I think Sadie deserves to be in that conversation. Unfortunately, there's just a lot of names right now and a lot of good performances this year, and she's young, so that's going to play against her. But there's no question we're going to see her at these award shows very, very soon. But one thing that I don't want to see this movie whittled down to is talk about obesity or eating disorders and things like that, or some people saying, "Oh, he's gross." The film is so much more than that, and I think it'd be criminal to work to just make it a narrative about that. Where I think that Darren Aronofsky made a film that's really for everybody. Yes, there's a certain focal point with it, with the whale, but how he entwines Moby Dick and the whole story and the
Yes.
fabric of not just what we're seeing, but also how meaningful it is to Brendan Fraser's character.
Mhm.
I thought it was one of the most powerful films of the year, honestly.
I have to agree with you. I thought it was one of the better films of the year. Brendan Fraser's performance is just off the chain. He will get nominated. He may not win, but he will get nominated. Now, going back to Sadie, Sadie will get nominated for actor or actress under 21. You got to remember there's a category for that. So she get nominated for that, and she could win. Her only other competition is the kid from Fableman and the kid from Till, from what I've
Yeah.
seen so far this year. And Sadie, yeah, you're right. She
I don't
was
know.
out there, man. She
That
really did the job.
that little girl from After Sun though is pretty darn good as well.
Well, she may get nominated too. So
Yeah.
we'll have to see what that one then. All right, let's kind of go through everything. Let's go start off with Puss in Boots. Janelle, you know what's funny to me? It doesn't matter what we think about it. The kids loved it. So we can
Yeah,
get
from a
no matter
kid's
what.
perspective, I'm going to give it 5 out of 5. The
Yeah.
kids seemed very, very into it. They thought it was great. Like I said, lots of laughter, lots of kids gasping, lots of them, yeah,
Cheering at the end.
yeah, and
Wow.
choking on their soda. So I'm
Right. I
5 out
agree
of
with
5.
Yeah, I give it 5 out of 5 too. Puss in Boots. It was a great movie. It was a lot of fun. Great storyline. Great, inspirational, especially for the kids. So yeah, I give it 5 out of 5. Tony.
Same 5 out of 5, especially for the kids. My gripe is something the kids aren't going to care about. I thought it was very odd how they changed the animation style during action sequences.
Yeah.
It was kind of distracting. It took me out of it a little bit. I don't know if it was to save money or they thought it looked cool. It just seemed a little strange. But man, that final shot, as we've alluded to, it's going to have people cheering, and I can't wait to see what comes next.
All right, Glass Onion streaming on Netflix. Tony.
4.5 out of 5 for me. Like I said, I love Knives Out. This was a tiny step down, but I mean very, very minuscule, but very entertaining, charming, great cast. And it just deconstructs the murder mystery. I'm not going to tell you how you think you know what's coming, and all of a sudden, boom, just like that. You don't. You have no idea what's going to happen next. Brilliant product placement. We won't get into spoilers on that, but 4.5 out of 5 for me.
Janelle.
Didn't see it yet.
Okay, so here comes James. Sorry about that. Here comes James. I'll go with you, Tony. 4.5 out of 5. Definitely do that. All right, let's move on to what we all talked about. I want to sing. Janelle.
I want to dance with somebody.
I want to dance with somebody. Yeah, thank you.
I'd give it a 4 out of 5. Like I said, I think there were a couple pacing issues. Sometimes it was too fast. Sometimes it was a little too slow. I think my personal opinion is the wrong decision was made to close out the movie, but that's just my personal opinion. Other than that, I think if you're going for the music, you're going to love it. I think if you're going to really kind of get into her story, you're going to like it. So I give it a 4 out of 5.
I give it 4 out of 5 too. I will admit this. Yes, on camera, I will do this on television. I would say there were certain scenes in there I was really doing my best not to bawl like a baby. I had little tears, and I heard people sniffling around me. I heard a lot of that during I Want to Dance with Somebody. So I give it 4 out of 5 too. I agree with you that last 20 minutes should have been, and they moved too quickly through her life. It was like we were just going through a concert. Tony,
Didn't see this one, unfortunately.
didn't see this one either. You know, James is going to learn eventually. I tell you, okay, we're gonna get there eventually. All right. So last but not least, the whale. Tony,
It's an easy 5 out of 5 for me. This will be on my top 10 of the year. It'll probably be higher than 10, obviously. Brendan Fraser, he's worth the trip to the theater alone to see this movie. I really hope people take the time to go see it. I don't have enough good things to say about it. You talk about tears, whew, you're gonna tear up a few times during this one.
I'll give it 4.5 out of 5 too. It was a pretty good movie. I mean, Sadie did put on a show. She really did. And Brandon caught me off guard. You don't expect that out of all the other movies he's done. This is really something to see.
If he doesn't walk away with statues all season, there's something wrong here, in my opinion.
Watch out for Tom. Watch out for Tom. Janelle?
I have to agree. I think a 4.5 out of 5 is right where it should be. It's like I said, it's a good movie. I think they're the ones that really, without them, it's not the same movie. It's just not. It's in that a lot of times isn't due to the writing, it's due to who's performing. And I think if you didn't have those two actors, I don't know if that would be the same caliber of movie. And they are, I think Tony's right. I think Brendan is bringing a lot of his pain from his past in Hollywood and his dealings with Hollywood and kind of dumping it into this movie. And it makes it very hard to watch.
Yeah, definitely. Well, guys, I keep seeing the dog back there, Janelle. That's what I was waving at when he was right next to you. So you have to forgive me on that one.
Yeah,
Again, James
and around.
Thomas, Tony. I'm sorry, Janelle, what'd you say?
Oh, yeah, I said she's up and around. She's taking.
Janelle, Tony, thank you again for joining us on Morning Blend. Before we get out of here, last two things I will say to you. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. I hope you have a great Christmas, both of you. I'm going to drink a lot of eggnog.
Merry Christmas, and we'll talk next week.
Okay.
Have a good holiday, everybody.
Yeah.
All right.